Have you ever wondered what would happen if we ever got a fusion of Lobo from the DC and Deadpool from the Marvel comics? Well, then that fusion would be Bloodwulf, an alien bounty hunter from the Image comics. Hailing from the same world as Spawn and Invincible, this bounty hunter is as crazy as Lobo and as unpredictable as Deadpool. At first, this character was considered a ripoff of Lobo, which it rightfully is. But despite being a copy, this character had his own distinct personality and storylines, making him one of the best characters to appear in Image comics. In today's video, we will dive deep into the origins of this formidable bounty hunter. But before we get started with the video, we have a small request for you. If you like our content, subscribe to us and like this video. It might just be a simple click for you, but it means a lot to us. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's get started. Bloody debut. The menacing arrival of Bloodwulf in the darker Image universe. Bloodwulf is an alien bounty hunter created by Liefeld and debuted in 1993 in a one-shot comic book titled Darker Image. This comic book introduced us to a bunch of dark characters like Deathblow, The Max, and Bloodwulf. The story featuring Bloodwulf shows that he is en route to Praxon 9, one of the 9 moons of Praxon, which was once the galaxy's largest trade planet. The former ruler of Praxon promised each of his 9 sons one planet before he died. After that, his sons have been killing each other to get the planet, and that's why the security in Praxon planets was tight. Luckily, Bloodwulf intercepted a courier headed for Praxon 9 and took his place. He reveals that 2 of the Emperor's sons insulted his grandmother, and he will get revenge for the insult. Bloodwulf lands in Praxon 9 and passes security by posing as a delivery boy. He enters the Emperor's son's cabin to make the delivery, but instead he pulls out his gun and blasts his head. Bloodwulf then swiftly tries to escape from the place, but he is noticed by a bunch of guards who find their ruler dead. He was almost close to his space bike when a bunch of guards surrounded him, and Bloodwulf killed everyone until he reached his bike. When he gets his bike, he lifts it, and it turns out to be a massive gun. He fires his weapon, and every guard falls dead on the site. Bloodwulf then rides his bike and leaves the planet. He reveals that he delivered a special bomb that would blow apart the whole planet. As Bloodwulf is at a safe distance away, his bomb does its work, and the planet turns to shreds. Well, this guy can blow up a whole planet just because someone insulted his grandma. That's a family man for you. Bloodwulf's alien saga, bounty hunting and intergalactic family dynamics unveiled. Later, Bloodwulf got his full-fledged comic series which dives deep into his crazy personality, family dynamics and space adventures. The story starts in space where we see a spaceship release an escape pod before it is captured by another vast ship. In Luapur, the home planet of Bloodwulf, we see one of Bloodwulf's kids throw a pet reptile into the bubble tub that Bloodwulf was using. The reptile bites Bloodwulf on the butt and he screams in pain. He gets frustrated as his kids are mischievous and are always playing some prank, and he never gets any peace. Here we are introduced to Bloodwulf's wives. Yes, wives, not wife. Bloodwulf is married to multiple women from different species, and they all live under the same roof. Bloodwulf is extremely conscious of his hair and gives himself an electric shock to add a spike to his hair. Bloodwulf's wife complains that he should have told her before shocking himself, and because of him, she has lost her work. Bloodwulf apologizes and leaves, stating that if he doesn't indulge in some senseless violence, then his head is going to explode. He goes out and fights his morpher android. He was having fun, but suddenly a pod came out of nowhere and crashed directly on his morpher, destroying it. 2 androids named Smood and Oidoi come out of the pod. Bloodwulf is frustrated that they destroyed his morpher and demands what they are looking for. Smood clarifies that they have a secret message for him. Oidoi plays the message, and it turns out to be a message from Bloodwulf's mother asking for help from someone called Ogo Kanafi. Upon receiving this distress call, Bloodwulf notifies his family that he is leaving and immediately leaves with the 2 droids to Cretacic Park to find Ogo Kanafi. But on the way, he is attacked by a few soldiers from the regime empire and falls into a swampland. They start battling the regime troops, and coincidentally they find Ogre Kanafi there. Kanafi also joins Bloodwulf and his companions in the battle. Suddenly a giant dinosaur-like creature appears and starts eating the regime soldiers. They find themselves surrounded by the regime troopers and the dinosaur-like creatures. So they devise a plan to walk below the belly of the creature. While they are running under the belly of this creature, it suddenly farts, and Bloodwulf becomes disoriented because of the smell. Later, Kanafi reminds him that he had already told him to hold his breath. They steal the skimmers of the regime soldiers, escape that place, and return to Beowulf's lair. They gear up for their impending battle at his house and move out to space on another vehicle. As they reach space, Ogre realizes he hasn't worn any protective gear except for on his head. Once they reach space, his body swells up and explodes, except for his head. They quickly land at the closest space station, which turns out to be a pleasure plaza. They take Kanafi's head to a doctor named Dr. Gale to get him fixed before they head out to free Beowulf's mother. Smood is mesmerized by the prostitutes nearby and goes after them. Bloodwulf leaves him alone and goes to a nearby bar, where we get a cameo appearance of Lobo, the character that inspired the creation of Bloodwulf. In the landing bay, the captain of a ship comes out with a swollen belly and cries in pain. Everyone is confused about what is happening, and suddenly a small, menacing reptile creature bursts out of his belly. Then a larger reptile creature comes out of the spaceship. These creatures start wreaking havoc in the landing bay and start attacking everyone at the space station. At the bar, Kanafi was fixed and given a humanoid body. He scolds Bloodwulf for not telling him to wear a spacesuit. Bloodwulf apologizes and reveals that he has a natural protective gear against him which protects him from the vacuum in space. So he completely forgot about making him wear a spacesuit. Suddenly they are attacked by those reptilian creatures. Bloodwulf gives a lightsaber to Kanafi and they fight those creatures while searching for a way out of the space station. On the way, they meet a team of crazy aliens called the Hot Blood. While fighting, one of the reptilian creatures tears apart Kanafi's belly and they run into the space station's security center. Here they meet with Dr. Gale, who gave Kanafi his new body, and she tells them this creature is a group of symbiotes called the Carolings. Later they reunite with Smood and Dr. Gale tells them about a wormhole that will lead them to the regime world, where Bloodwulf's mother is held captive. They somehow escape from the space station with the help of a ship and start traveling straight towards the regime world. In regime world, we see that the regime commander, Vas Deferens, has kept Bloodwulf's mother, Red Wolf, as his captive. He reveals that he captured her only to bring Bloodwulf to his lair. Back in space, the crew successfully crosses the wormhole, and just as they are about to land in the regime world, they run out of fuel and crash into an ocean. They are rescued by a traveling ship, but it turns out that they are pirates, and they hold Bloodwulf, Kanafi, Dr. Gale, and Smood on their gunpoint. Bloodwulf and Dr. Gale tried to fight back, but Bloodwulf was dragged into the water by a giant squid. The squid tries to swallow Bloodwulf, but he throws a grenade into its mouth, blowing the squid away. Then he uses one of the squid's tentacles, latches it onto the pirate ship, and reaches the port. He helps his crew escape at the port, and all of them beat down the pirates. They defeat all the pirates and find themselves surrounded by the regime troops. They try to run from them, and Bloodwulf blasts a door, which turns out to be a regime lab. In the lab, they find a door and try to escape through it. But just as Bloodwulf tries to enter through the door, a scientist presses a switch, and Bloodwulf's body disintegrates, and it appears that Bloodwulf is dead. The rest of the crew, including Dr. Gale, Kanafi, and Smood, are captured by the regime troops. In space, Bloodwulf's grandma, Khalifa, is en route to save her daughter from the regime world. Back in the regime world, Dr. Gale argues with the regime troops, and suddenly a boy named Cecil starts attacking the dome with the help of his sea serpent. He claims that they killed Billy the squid, and this has made the sea serpent mad. At a space station in regime world called the Dark Orb, we see the dark reference makes Red Wolf watch as they torture Bloodwulf. As it turns out, the door didn't kill Bloodwulf, but teleported him directly to Vas Deferens's space station. Vas Deferens leaves the site, claiming he has something to do, and asks his minions to keep torturing Bloodwulf. Back at the dome, the sea serpent relentlessly attacks the dome, and water starts seeping into it. Dr. Gale wakes up an unconscious Kanafi and Smoot and escapes from the place with the help of the same door that disintegrated Bloodwulf after learning that it is a teleporter. In Dark Orb, one of the minions tries shaving Bloodwulf's hair with a razor. This makes Bloodwulf go berserk. He breaks his chains and starts attacking the minions. He kills them in the most brutal way possible and searches for vast deference. Red Wolf screams to Bloodwulf for help, but it turns out she is kept in a soundproof chamber and Bloodwulf goes past her. Suddenly, the rest of the crew teleported here and heard Red Wolf's screams, and Smoot helped her escape while Gale killed the rest of the soldiers. Since Kanafi's body was almost destroyed, Dr. Gale attaches his head to a new body, which turns out to be a woman's. The team then fights all the other soldiers and escapes the space station while wishing that Bloodwulf will find his way back. Meanwhile, Bloodwulf reaches Vast Efference's cabin after defeating all his soldiers. He removes Vast Efference's mask and finds that he is none other than Gaimanwank, an old enemy of Bloodwulf. Bloodwulf remarks that he had killed him. How was he alive? Vast Efference says that he just got better, and Bloodwulf throws him towards the control panel, claiming he will finish the job. Vast Efference starts crying and says that Bloodwulf shouldn't have thrown him into the control panel as he has accidentally pressed a switch that will auto-destruct the space station. Suddenly, someone blasts open the chamber and Bloodwulf and Vast Efference are sucked into space. In space, he witnesses that the one who shot the chamber was none other than his grandma. He hints to his grandma and her girlfriend that the space station will auto-destruct and they must hurry and go as far away as possible. When they are all at a safe distance, the space station explodes. Later, at Bloodwulf's home planet, La Peur, a reunion takes place, with Bloodwulf's whole family present. Bloodwulf explains to his wives that this guy was someone he thought he had killed off before, but as it turns out, he wasn't dead and came for revenge. Bloodwulf's daughter suggests that Bloodwulf marry Gale as she is a perfect match for him. Bloodwulf says it's not a bad idea, but first they need to help her with some unfinished business on her home planet, Earth. Bloodwulf versus the Supreme, a cosmic collision of powers. Bloodwulf is also featured in a one-shot comic where we see the battle between Bloodwulf and the Supreme, often considered the Superman of Image Comics and one of the strongest characters from Image Comics. The story starts in the Deja Vu sector, where everything happens at least 2 times, and you get the feeling that this has already happened before. In this space station, 3 aliens kidnapped the son of Vixen, the aunt of Bloodwulf, and wanted to negotiate with her to hand over Bloodwulf and take her son. As it turns out, Bloodwulf is hiding in Vixen's long hair and goes out to search for Vixen's son. He poses as the customs inspector and goes near the rig that kept his nephew. In an attempt to save his nephew, he blows the alien guarding the rig but accidentally also kills his nephew in the process. Right about then, the Supreme arrives in that space station and watches as Vixen chases Bloodwulf to kill him. Vixen has gone mad as she has lost her child, and in rage she is attacking anyone in sight. She tries hitting the Supreme too, but the Supreme punches her and she dies. Bloodwulf is furious at the sight of his dead aunt and says how dare he kill her. The Supreme claims he only helped Bloodwulf by taking out a burden from him. Bloodwulf claims that she wasn't a burden but his beloved aunt and punches the Supreme. In his rage, the Supreme attacks Bloodwulf with his laser vision. Bloodwulf starts burning and rushes to the washroom to douse the flames. Bloodwulf then attacks the Supreme with a toilet from the washroom. This infuriates the Supreme and he punches Bloodwulf into the space. Bloodwulf appears again with a truck and hits the Supreme with it, but instead of killing the Supreme, the vehicle explodes and destroys the space station. The Supreme is annoyed and flies off into space. Bloodwulf retrieves his space bike and thinks about how he will break the news of the death of his aunt and nephew to his mother. How formidable is Bloodwulf's power? Bloodwulf was a formidable character in Image Comics, but not because of his powers, but because of his crazy and unpredictable methods. His powers include superhuman strength, which is pretty obvious. He also has a unique space bike, which he can use as a giant gun when needed. Bloodwulf also had a protective veil covering his body, protecting him in the space vacuum. Because of this, Bloodwulf doesn't need any special spacesuit or protective gear to travel around space. In addition to all these powers, he also possesses a holy weapon called the Bloodspiller, which he got from the vampire clan. This weapon is one of the most powerful weapons in the existence of Image Comics, as it symbolizes both Jesus Christ's bloodshed and the Holy Spirit. Last but not least, Bloodwulf has an unlimited source of Riz that allows him to attract and marry any female from any alien species he pleases. Marvelous verdict. Despite being loved by many, this character has not appeared in the comics for a long time. Bloodwulf's last notable appearance was in 2015 in the Bloodstrike comics. Despite his disappearance from the comics, we are sure most comic book fans from the 1990s have not forgotten this character, primarily because of his quirky attitude and broken sense of humor. We wish that Rob Liefeld comes back with another mini-series or a full-fledged storyline involving Bloodwulf, because we really miss this character and can't wait to dive into his endless space adventures. With that being said, if you like our content, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.